Biden and Jean-Pierre for standing up and saying enough is enough. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. I am Alina Gonzalez-Dockery, your hostess of Purple Politics. And again, my heart goes out to those victims and those families still awaiting word as to whether their family members will come home. And my heart and prayers go to all of the innocents who are going to be victimized by this horrific war against an evil terrorist organization. As always, I hope you will join me again next week for further updates on the goings of this international travesty as well as our current political angst. Thank you and good night.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world, you are watching Now Media Television.
Broadcasting from Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, this is Be Productive, hosted by business strategist and productivity expert Clara Capano. Join us to discuss the most critical issues affecting our businesses with a fresh, practical, and objective discussion on the first bilingual media network in the United States. Be Productive starts right now.
Welcome to Be Productive. I'm your host, Clara Capano, and this is the show where we talk with industry experts and give you real life key strategies that are going to help you increase your level of focus so that you can work at your highest level of productivity. Today, we are talking about what keeps us motivated. And one of the things that helps to keep us motivated is to celebrate. So we are going to have fun today as we dive into the last module of the Clarity Success Method, which is all about, yes, it's time to celebrate. So many times we set goals and we do not celebrate those wins until the very end. We need to change things. We need to make sure we are not just celebrating the big wins, but we are celebrating all those tiny wins along the way. So stay tuned. We are going to be back in just a few minutes as we sit down with some key experts that are going to talk to us about the importance of how we can celebrate those small wins, keep us motivated, and always, always help us to stay and be productive. We'll be back in just a minute to start the discussion.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Broadcasting from Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, this is Be Productive, hosted by business strategist and productivity expert Clara Capano. Join us to discuss the most critical issues affecting our businesses with a fresh, practical, and objective discussion on the first bilingual media network in the United States. Be Productive starts right now.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and this is where we talk about all things that you need to do to keep your level of productivity up so that you can achieve success and do it all on your terms. Today, we are breaking down the Clarity Success module, and we actually are on the last one, which is why. The why stands for, yes, it's time to celebrate. You know, part of being productive is keeping ourselves alive, excited, and fully engaged. And one of the best ways to do that is to make sure that we are celebrating along our path and along our journey. Today, we have an amazing guest. We have Julie Jacobs here. Julie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, Miss Clara.
I know. Well, I knew I wanted to bring you on because this is something that you really, work with so much. And you live in the light of being able to acknowledge and help people celebrate those small wins. What I find is so many times at the end of the day, we get to the end of the day and our thoughts are completely stuck on what didn't I get done today? Well, you know what? We end the day feeling low energy and it really zaps our ability to be productive. So I think it's important that we start to look at some of those small wins that we have and start to celebrate those to keep us excited. Tell us a little bit about the importance of celebrating the small wins in helping us to maintain our true level of productivity and focus.
Well, first of all, I agree completely. You're a genius. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I have found that particularly for women, we are so future focused and so everybody else focused. And so, everything is, we're making sure this is right and this is okay. And that's great. And telling other people in our lives, you did a really great job on that paper that you wrote, or you did a really great job mowing the lawn, whatever it might be. How often do we turn around and do that to ourselves? And I'll tell you, in my experience with working with amazingly talented, brilliant, wonderful women, we simply don't do it. We simply don't do it. So I start every coaching session with the same question, which sends them into a state generally. And I always say, what are you celebrating today? Because there has to be something. There has to be something. And if you can't find something, go on Google. Have you ever heard of Google? Go on there.
Yeah.
Go on there and just look up like 5 tips for daily existence, whatever. If it's drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, doing this, these small incremental things that you can do so that at the end of the night, you can say, gosh, I drank enough water today.
Yeah.
I did that. And this isn't about moving mountains or this isn't about like changing policies. It's about feeling good inside of our bodies and feeling good about what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And I love how you use the example of the drinking water. And, right here I have my water bottle and on the side, it talks about the different ounces, but then it gives me some cheering on. Keep going, you're almost there. And honestly, when I do that, I feel good about myself. And when I feel good about myself, I want to jump into the next thing that I'm doing. So I think it really is crucial that we work on these. And I love how you start every session with that. One of the things I love to do is start my sessions also with a moment of gratitude, but then I also love to close it with not just what did you learn, but what's something you want to celebrate. I was having a conversation with a group yesterday, and it was all about restructuring and a lot of the systems that they need. So I could tell that they were feeling pretty down on themselves, like, oh, we have all this wrong. And I said, okay, before we end our time, I want to hear from each of you, what is something that you're doing great? And it took them a moment, but I could see this shift in the energy and they were really excited to get off the call and again, jump into some of the tasks. So I think
Exactly.
you're right. It doesn't have to be these big items. One of the things that I also notice, and I would love to get your take on this, is I think sometimes when we have goals, most of the time they're monetary goals, they're business goals. Well, so many times that paycheck comes down the road.
Hmm.
I feel it's more important to celebrate maybe the productive activities or how I show up every day.
Yeah.
Because if I just do the right things, the productivity takes care of itself. So, how do you coach people through getting out of just looking at the paycheck of being the celebration? Because we do want to celebrate those too.
Yeah.
But if we wait for the paycheck to celebrate, that could be several months down the road.
That is very true. And I'm glad that you brought that up too, because I am a life and career coach for women. So career, income, monetary, but the goals that we set aren't about money generally, unless it's you're saving up for something.
Mhm.
But so it's just in my whole everything is like, it's about you. It's not about money necessarily. So I like to say that, we were saying at the end of the night, we can look back and say, oh, we drank enough water, we did this, we walked however many steps. But we can also do that throughout the entire day.
Mhm.
So it's that, again, self-talk. Are we nice to ourselves, or are we really mean to ourselves? Because we can be really mean to ourselves.
We don't, when my son was young in second grade, he had a bully. And, he would go to school and, Mama Bear wanted to go in there and take care of some things, but the truth is we all have a bully and most of it is ourselves. And when you're doing that, think about what you're doing to your level of focus and productivity when you're being so hard on yourself. And so I think, again, learning compassion, but it is that fine balance because we don't want to be too easy on ourselves because then nothing will get done, but we don't want to be so hard on ourselves that it shuts us down. So, what are some things that, you do either for yourself or you do with your clients? What are some of the maybe the rituals that you have people go through to celebrate?
Well, it's always at the very beginning of the session. So then they're like looking at me like, oh, you're going to ask me this again? And so what I'm doing with a client right now actually is I'm sending them a text every day. What are you celebrating? Because that prompt has to come from somebody else for many of us. We can't prompt ourselves for that because for some reason we think that we shouldn't celebrate our successes or we shouldn't this. So making it a practice that then becomes a way of life is really exciting to me. And so something that I do literally is like, what am I celebrating right now?
Yeah.
What's awesome?
Exactly. So true. This reminds me actually of a book that I read called The Power of Moments. And what they were talking about is it was more in a sales process. And they said that when you're working with a client, there's certain moments that are very high and there's other moments that are low. You want to recognize the high moments and make a big deal because that's what we remember. And this kind of it resonates with me with what you're saying here is go through your day. What were the moments of magic in your day, and let's celebrate them. Celebrate the magic in each week. And I think this could really tailor into even a monthly or a quarterly practice. What are you most
Absolutely.
proud of? What do you want to celebrate from last week, from last month, so that you can do that? Because if all you are doing is just waiting, that could be 12 months if it's an annual plan. So
Yeah.
again, being able to look at it and really acknowledge, this is what I got done. I have seen it so many times where I will be feeling myself, I just didn't get anything done this week. And then I'll lay down and I'll start writing out, these are all the things I accomplished. And I'm like, wow, I actually did accomplish a lot. But if
Yes.
I don't do that and celebrate it, it can just be very draining. So
Yes.
I think, looking at that, and I also think what you're talking about is, again, acknowledging these things. And a lot of these can be non monetary. But you know what? Celebrating can also mean treating yourself. What do you think about treating yourself to something as part of a celebration?
You know, I love a bold lip.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I'm in a drugstore, I know there's a reason I can celebrate and buy myself a lipstick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
It's so
there's
true.
always something that I have accomplished. To my mind, it can be I drank enough water yesterday. Like like we said before. So there's always a reason to celebrate a little retail celebration.
Yeah. And, I'm all about experiences. So for me, it's creating those. So even treating myself with the experience of going and getting maybe a pedicure or going and meeting a friend for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. All of those are still celebrations, because we're working on doing those things and creating experiences. Yeah. But again, I think it's about learning it. And I know, scientifically, one of the greatest ways to stay productive is to measure your success along the way. Because when you can see it, when, if you're out there, working in a field and you're looking ahead and you see how far you have to go versus looking behind and seeing how far you came. Yeah. And I think, that's a little bit about what we're talking about here is making sure that you're paying attention to where you have come from and everything that you've done. Yes. So I think, again, making sure that you're carving out time, not just in each day, but again, all along the way, because Absolutely. It's not just about the end result. So if you are somebody that is out there, or you see someone that's out there struggling, and again, they are really beating themselves up, outside of the one question you have of what is something you want to celebrate today? I think sometimes people get stuck in that mind gap, and I'll call it the Eeyore syndrome, where they're just walking around with a little gray cloud over their head. Outside of that question, what are some other exercises that people can do to call them in and get them into that path of celebrating more?
That's a great question. And one of the things I like to use is, what did you find interesting about today? Mm-hmm. That can turn into a whole conversation about the future by having seen a bluebird out the window that I hadn't seen in these parts in centuries. Mm-hmm. So It's little things like there's other ways to kind of work around the celebration piece. What was interesting? Why was it interesting for you in particular? Yeah. Just different ways to get to the same result.
And we've talked about this, before, and the idea of, gratitude and, celebrating gratitude. One of the things that I have seen a lot of people do is they create a gratitude jar. And in it, they actually write down, it could be themselves or they could do it with their families, but they write down and they put that in the jar. But then they pull it out and they read those either on New Year's Eve, and they kind of, celebrate the whole year. But I think even doing that around the dinner table, around the breakfast table, again, celebrating, for everyone, because you never know who might need a little bit of sunshine. Yeah. And, that sunshine allows for growth. And when we are growing, we tend to have the energy and then be more productive.
Exactly. I actually have a little journal, gratitude journal with my teenagers, if you can believe it. Mm-hmm. So we each write a thing in there daily. And it's funny to look back on it because a lot of times they are begrudgingly filling out what they're grateful for, or, whatever they're, think is great or whatever for the day. So that's definitely something that I have used just to wrangle teenagers, frankly.
It's so interesting because Sean Achor, he actually wrote a book called The Happiness Advantage. And one of the things that he talks about is journaling at the end of the day, and again, going back to celebrating the day. But what I found interesting on a scientific level is he said it allows you to rewire your brain for productivity and success. And when your brain is wired for more positivity, more abundance, we actually are about 37% more productive. So there is scientific evidence that when we do these things and we really focus on that celebration, not only does it light us up inside, but it tends to permeate out into all the other areas.
Exactly.
I love that. Well, Julie, thank you so much for taking time to come in and sharing some of your tips and reminding us how important it is to celebrate the beauty, celebrate the tasks, celebrate everything that we are doing. And oftentimes we are being more productive than we think we are. So if people out there want to find you, what's the best place for people to find you, Julie?
I'm just in love with Instagram right now. So Julie_Jacobs_coaching is a great way to get a hold of me right now.
Excellent. Love that. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. Remember, we are talking all about the power of celebrating as a way to stay productive. So stay tuned because we're going to be right back after this quick commercial break.
literally says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and we are here talking about what it means to get out of the world of simply being busy and what it means to have key strategies to help you be productive. Today, we are closing out the Clarity Success module, and we are on the last one, which is all about, yes, it's time to celebrate. One of the best ways we can stay connected and get more done is by celebrating the small wins along the way. So we are being joined today by our joyologist, Colleen Greco. Colleen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. I love to celebrate.
Yes, we have to celebrate. You know, you talk a lot with people about living in joy. And we had you on one of our earlier sessions talking about this, but what I want to do is talk about the importance of celebrating along the way, because I think so many times when people set out to achieve their goals, they think that they have to wait until the end. When they achieve that big, audacious goal, that's the only time they can celebrate. And let's be honest, that journey can be exhausting. And it can deplete us and we can lose focus. So talk to us a little bit about how celebrating the small wins along the way help us maintain a level of joy and therefore productivity.
Oh, I could talk about this all day long. I'm so excited. So, you know, my story is that I lost 52 pounds about 5 years ago. And so I've been able to keep it off, which is great. But had I started off saying, I want to lose 52 pounds, I might have well just said, let's go climb Mount Everest, right? That is just an insurmountable goal. That's a tremendous amount of weight. And so along the way, I definitely had my own successes, but I almost force my clients to celebrate the little wins, the slight change in their waist measurement, the, neck size down in clothing, because those small incremental changes add up to huge changes over time. And it's also kind of the bridge that they need to stay on track and stay motivated. When they have learned to avoid triggers, when they have, gone to a cookout and not had an entire plate of cookies, which I've done. Those are really, really important because they also, they teach the brain more positive, more productive habits. And that's really important as they go through their journey.
Right. And I think it's so important. I love what you're saying. And first of all, congratulations. What a, huge accomplishment that is.
Thank you.
But it's so true, because with something like weight, it can fluctuate day by day. And that can really deflate us. Let's bring this back to talking about business. What are some things that we could celebrate, to show us that we're making progress towards our business goals? What do you have some of your clients look at, and what would be a small win for a client in business?
So, I mean, it's making contact with that client that you feel like you've been chasing, and they've, sort of, blocked you out, or, now I'm drawing a blank.
What I like to do is also, going back to what you had talked about, is again, looking at what we did accomplish. You had brought up the idea of going to a barbecue and not eating the cookies. And I've done that too. But, looking at work, maybe did I do my phone calls today? And maybe I didn't do all of them, but did I do one? Did I help a client, get unlocked and be able to move forward? So I think it's, relatively the same. It's that idea of, are you taking action?
Well, there's a lot of things that I think it's a human tendency to criticize ourselves, or shame ourselves that we haven't gotten enough accomplished in a day. I find if you lead with grace, you actually get more accomplished. Learning a new task, that can be a small win. Developing, a new process, something that you have maybe automated or you have put different steps into, may seem really menial, but maybe made you more productive. Certainly worth celebrating. There are so many things that I think it's really simple. My favorite, I'm sorry, Clara. My favorite quote is, comparison is the thief of joy. So one thing I'm always coaching about is, don't look at somebody else's situation and compare yourself to them. Look at your own wins. Look at the things that you have, accomplished over the course of the day. One of the things I like to do for myself is I make a list of 3 things to accomplish every day. One's pretty big, one's kind of medium, and one is usually personal, because I always want to make progress in every part of my life. And I also set times of the day where I want to accomplish them, so that, by 10 a.m., if I accomplish number 1, I'm feeling pretty good. And then by 2 o'clock, I'm like, all right, I got 2 out of 3. If I finish the third one, which 99.9% of the time I do, and I do early, I might add a 4th, but I usually do stop there and say, this is awesome. Now I can have, I insert more fun into areas of the rest of my day.
I love that. And I love what you were talking about with the comparison game. I had somebody coin the term comparisonitis one time. And I think that is such a way to, again, hold us back, because we have to, again, run our own race. And I love your 3 items. I do the same thing. I call them my big 3. And, what I do is I look at my schedule and I say, based upon my schedule, based upon my goals for the week, what are the 3 things I need to get done today? And then again, I time block for them. And then the idea of the celebration, this is something I call it actually bookending my days. And what I find is that I start my days with gratitude, because that builds my energy for the day. But I find that so many people at the end of the day, they do exactly what you said. They focus on all the things they didn't get done. Well, what if we ended the day with a scoreboard celebration of, I got these items done today? It's such a beautiful way to rewire our brain and rewire our mindset. And I think that when we start to look at those, maybe we didn't get it all done, but when we start to look at those little things we get done, again, we end the day with that feeling of joy, that feeling of accomplishment, and we're fired up to get back into it the next day.
First of all, the inventor of the sticky note is probably one of my favorite humans on the planet.
Yes, we probably bought them several retirement homes and put their kids through college many times over.
Many times over. But that feeling of just peeling it off the desk and crumpling it up and throwing it away is about the greatest celebration I feel like, I experience every single day.
Absolutely.
And I also like in my journal for the next day, I do reflect back. I don't do it that day. So I may make this shift based on your advice there, but I do reflect the next morning. And I'm always so impressed with how kind I am to myself. Because again, it's really, really simple to either shame or maybe under celebrate some of the things you've accomplished.
And I don't know who did the study and I don't remember the exact number, but it's something to the effect of we say 15 mean and negative things to ourselves for every one thing that we say. And think what that's doing to our level of mindset and then productivity. So you mentioned the 3 items that you do. Do you have any other rituals that either you do or you coach your people through to help them celebrate? Do you break it down into not just daily, but quarterly? Do you have them do something on a vision board? What other rituals can you encourage people to do to start celebrating and keeping that level of excitement up?
I definitely encourage vision boards. I strongly believe in them. I think when you see your goals, it's very, you almost bring them to life. But I also think there are stories that we tell ourselves that help keep us stuck. And so when I'm working with clients, I'm always trying to, kind of unpack that and help them overcome that. Because once you detach emotion from those stories just drive on by. And so I find that you operate throughout your day with a much clearer frame of mind when you've released those stories. So I work really hard with people to do that as well.
I love that. One of the things that you mentioned a few minutes ago was this idea of how with your 3 items, you sort of look at them throughout the day, because if you can accomplish them early on, you're like, oh, it's only 9 o'clock and look what I've accomplished. I can relate so much to that. And that's really what helps me with my morning routine, because when I get up and I do my morning routine, I'm done with that by about 7 a.m. And I love the feeling of that accomplishment of knowing that I'm doing something that really only the top 1 or 2% of the population is doing. And that joy, that excitement of knowing, hey, I'm accomplished. It really gives me an energy, for the next few hours. And then I can sit there at around 11:30 when I start to feel a little bit tired saying, wow, look at everything I've accomplished. And I'm only halfway through the day. So I think that there really is power in looking at these. And I say, to people, do it every day, but also check in midweek. What have I been able to accomplish? Because it's so easy to just go through and be like, I feel like I haven't really done anything. But then when you list out, and I love physically writing everything out of what I have accomplished, because I think that we create these false stories that we're not accomplishing things. And again, that I think lights us up and brings us back to connecting with our joy, which is exactly what you do as a joyologist.
Well, and to that point about the pen, there's a psychological connection between the brain, your fingertips, the pen, and the paper that just is unbreakable. It is not the same connection as if you were to type it out on your laptop. And so it almost brings, that accomplishment, not to light, but maybe under a spotlight. And it kind of, it humanizes it. And I think it's really, to your point, super important to celebrate it. And I love the fact that you talk about, doing so midweek as well, because let's face it, once you hit Wednesday, it's usually like a downhill slope towards the end of the week. And that can really help keep your momentum going as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just think it's so fantastic. Do you have any other tips or strategies for people, maybe if they're in a slump, and how they can get back and reconnect and start the celebration process to pull them out of their slump and get them back into joy?
So I think it's really important to think about the things that on a really small scale bring you joy. I was having a day the other day where I just felt off. I wasn't sure why. Nothing really happened, but I just wasn't in the right energy. And so I threw on some music, and before I knew it, I was a completely different person. In some cases, we go back to like the weight loss example, that is too big of a goal. But to put music on to kind of calm myself down was exactly what I needed to then say, okay, what do I want to accomplish now? I think journaling is critically important. Again, that psychological connection. The pen is unable to lie. When you are able to physically write those things down, the truth comes out, and the thing that's bothering you, whether you know it or not, subconsciously or consciously, will pop off the paper. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of value in, talking with a bunch of girlfriends about it, but you could certainly do that if that is the thing that helps you. But honestly, the other thing is physical fitness, any kind of movement. So if it's, walking or yoga or running, swimming, when you move your body, you are creating fresh, rich red blood cells that go straight to the brain that produce serotonin, which is that feel-good hormone. And that's the thing that makes you feel accomplished. So just any type of movement, whatever it is, whatever brings you joy, really, really important to get your mental health back on track so that you can continue to be productive.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that brings me joy is pairing those two things together and having a dance party. Oftentimes I do that in between my recordings and my calls. And again, I get that movement and I get my juice back in. So Colleen, thank you so much for sharing some tidbits on celebrating our small wins, because when we celebrate, again, we start to program ourselves to be in that realm of joy. So where can people connect with you and learn more about bringing their own personal joy into their life?
Definitely. Instagram is the best place to find me, at the Colleen Greco, where you can reach me on my website, www.colleengreco.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, you heard it here first. Make sure you are celebrating, because when you stop and you celebrate all those small wins, it wires you for happiness, which then leads to higher levels of productivity. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of our conversation on being productive.
These are the top 3 questions I get from people about investing in real estate. How much money do I need to get to the next level? How do I find good properties to invest in? Can I even make money in this business when interest rates are so high? I answer these questions and many more in my online course, SFR University, where I show you the strategy that I used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business in 4 years from scratch. Whether you're just starting out or someone who's looking to scale, this course will have something for you. Join us at sfruniversity.com. See you in the course.
My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250,000 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and we are here to celebrate. You know, a big part of allowing us to stay focused and stay productive is by also recognizing the small wins that we are having along the way. We have been breaking down the Clarity Success Method, and we all know that that last step is the why, which stands for yes, it's time to celebrate. So to help us understand the importance and also get some strategies, I have Danette Moss joining us, and she is the strategy lady. So Danette, welcome so much to the show.
Hey, Claire, as always, I'm excited to hang out with you, lady. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. So let's talk strategies to celebrate. You know, we can set goals, and you do a lot of this with your clients as you set business plans with them. But you know, when they set a plan, especially if it's an annual goal, that's 12 months away. How can you find that celebrating the small wins? How do you find that that keeps your people more purposeful and productive over the course of the year? Why is it so important?
Well, I believe that if we acknowledge those small wins instead of looking at the year model, I love breaking things down quarterly, but I also like to look at celebrating my weekly goals, my daily goals, weekly goals, and month-to-month goals. Because if I can see that I've accomplished something and it's not this big broad thing, then it helps me stay on track. Because oftentimes, Claire, we can look at the big picture and it can be a little discouraging sometimes if we don't meet it. But if we take it in the bite-sized chunks as opposed to the big ones, it will keep you encouraged, nonetheless, to keep fighting the good fight of faith and keeping that tenacity roar going, you know?
Exactly. You know, and it's so important. I find, you know, for myself as well as for so many of my clients, we might talk and I can say, oh, you know, how has the last month gone for you? And many times the first response is, oh, I didn't get anything done, or I don't feel like I've made much movement. And then I give them a pen and I say, why don't you write down everything that you've accomplished? And by the end of the exercise, they have a laundry list of things that they have accomplished. Why do you think we lose sight of all the good things that we do?
Because we don't know how to acknowledge our efforts. We feel as though we need to do what Clara's doing. I'm not Clara. I'm Danette. And if I can stay in my oneness, if I can stay in my I am, I work better that way. Recognizing that God gave me my gifts and my talents. And the minute I start trying to own and operate someone else's gift, I get off track. This sets me up for the imposter syndrome. It sets me up for the spirit of perfection. It's so important that we don't do that. So acknowledge your efforts is the key, I believe.
Absolutely. So what are some strategies that you help your clients with and ways that you encourage them to celebrate all the way from the small wins all the way up to the big wins?
Well, the first strategy is doing exactly what we just kind of mentioned, you know, acknowledging different things, but writing things down, right? So take that strategic approach. Again, you know, I come from writing the vision down, making it plain so that you can see it. When you can see the things that you're working towards, it makes it easier for you to be able to walk it out. Okay, so that's the number one strategy for me. Secondly, you know, as you write things down, look at it in its most simple approach. You know, they say, keep it simple, Sally, the KISS factor. I don't want to say the S one, right? simplifying things as much as possible. When we overcomplicate things, Clara, because women, we can overcomplicate. I know I came from that space as someone that's high up in tech. I used to overcomplicate everything, even down to my coaching and training. And I found that I was operating too high. So simplifying as much as you can simplify, listen, that's the easiest path, because as you keep it simple, you can walk clearly in it, and it makes it easier for you not to give up so easy.
So true. And, I think when we talk about celebrating the wins, many times we go to the idea that we can now spend money. And yes, you can. But again, writing things down, that doesn't have to cost any money to celebrate. It could be in the little things, such as if you finish your day and it's 3:00 in the afternoon and you feel like you've put in a full day of effort and you got your boxes checked off, celebrate and take an early day.
That's it.
It's all in those little things.
Let me tell you, celebrate and go grab a cup of tea. Celebrate and take a walk out by the lake. Celebrate yourself, because if you don't celebrate yourself, in some cases, who will? So you have to do that. As a newbie in business and as a successful woman in business, sometimes the finances are kind of tight, right? And just something so simple as just having a woosah and understanding that sometimes in life is lifing, and there's just some things that you just can't get around, right? But if you pause and say, I did the best that I can, celebrate that, because you did. Now, we also know when we don't do it. Don't beat yourself up. Look at what it is you need to do and celebrate the fact that you acknowledge the fact that you had a little hiccup for the day, but I acknowledge it and know I can move forward tomorrow because I have the tenacity and I'm not giving up.
Right. We do. And I think you're absolutely right. We have to have compassion for ourselves. None of us are perfect and we're all going to fall off. So sometimes celebrate the honesty of, I messed up, but you know what? I have the power to get back on track as well. So when you're working with your clients, I love the idea of maybe writing down every day or every week so you can celebrate those. Do you also strategically encourage your people to have sort of a big end of the year goal? Do they take a picture of it, and working through that? Do you encourage them to have quarterly goals? How do you work with your clients as far as breaking it as to how often, the frequency, and the size of what they should be celebrating?
Well, I am a true advocate of quarterly, because if we break things down quarterly, at the end, we have that whole goal. Now, I'm not saying that you should not look at a full year map. You can list down the things that you're going to do, right? It's almost like backwards planning. If I know that I'm going to have the strategy talk and more summit, and it's going to be in December, I know it's in December, so now I can backwards plan things out, right? I know when something is going to happen next year in June. I still have the big picture, but I encourage them to bite on it quarterly, so that way they won't be overwhelmed, okay? And you know what it is you're going to be working on next. I believe in having a year. We can have that year, that 3, that 5-year goal plan out. But how can you get to the year if you can't get to the 3 months, if you can't get to the 6 months? So I want you to look at a realistic, snapshot of where you are. Quarterly is my best friend, to just answer it straight out. It's my best friend because as I move through quarterly, I can see my achievements and I can see even where I have the hiccups at, because it'll help me when it comes to SOPs. It'll help me when it comes to workflows. But when I start out too far ahead, I kind of mess up a little bit sometimes if I get too far ahead. There's things we have to do to build on things. It's like creating a business plan, right? We create that business plan and we think we're running to the bank, Claire, and they're going to give us money right out.
Yeah.
Not going to happen, right?
Exactly. And I also think this can be applied to, projects. I know when I was writing my last book, I did the same thing. I had my big goal and I bought the bottle of champagne that I was going to have the day that the book launched and became a bestseller. But then I had little ones. When I got the first draft done, I was going to allow myself to go and get a pedicure. When I, I had little measurement ones. And I looked at that, because not only was it the celebration when I achieved it, but it also motivated me, because I could look at it, and every day that I looked at that bottle of champagne, it reminded me and it motivated me, and it got me excited because I knew the celebration was coming.
But you know what? You set realistic expectations. And at the same time, you decided how you were going to reward yourself. And so you say, I've got this glass of wine here, or this bottle. I'm not going to crack it until I do this. It's still mapping out the plan. Write the vision and make it plain so that you can see it. If you can see it, now you can see how you can obtain it. But if you're not clear, you can't get there. When we are ready to celebrate who we are, where we are, and where we're going, again, we have to be clear so we can see it. And if we see it and we're off a little bit, now that we can see it, I know how to go get it. So I know I need to get to Clara so I can get some clarity. I'm excited because I acknowledge that now I can make the necessary steps or take the necessary steps in order to make, to achieve it in a nutshell.
Absolutely. Well, I just think that you are so spot on with this. I love the idea of the quarterly because I do think having a 12-month or an annual goal that you're going towards, but I think the retuning of it and the celebrating every quarter, because 4 months, that 12-week period, that's manageable, and it's something that we can see. It's not so far away, but
Right.
then I also love at the end of each week, what was my biggest win? When I do my weekly business planning with myself, I always ask myself from the week before, what was the best thing that happened? What did I learn? But then also at the end of each day, what was a win that I had today? Because sometimes the days it could feel like we didn't get anything done, because I think so many times we equate a successful day with, did I get a paycheck today? And that's not always what success is. Success could be having the courage to make a phone call that you didn't want to take. Success could be firing a client that wasn't the right client for you. Success could be that you stayed on your schedule for the day and you didn't deviate from it. So I think it's so important to, again, really, take some time to reflect each day on what are the wins that you had each day.
Claire, I love the fact that you mentioned that it's not just about money. Because when we get into that mode and we don't see the money, we can easily sabotage ourselves because we can be all over the place. I'm not making the money. And we put ourselves in a space of scarcity mindset thinking, there's only plenty of times where, especially when you're new in business, that you don't see it. But the fact that you've achieved, you completed something, that's something to celebrate. So now I can go to the next phase and then I can continually, gradually growing. But if I place myself fully in the mindset of money, you might find yourself giving up, sooner than later. And developing that scarcity mentality is just not going to be good. Don't think about the money. Yes, we're in business to make money, but if you put those processes and systems and take those actionable steps, the money is going to, what they say, cometh at some point.
Exactly. Danette, thank you so much for being here. I love talking about celebrating, even though it is the final step of the Clarity Success Method. It is one of the important because we put a lot of work, we put a lot of effort in, so we have to celebrate. And talking about celebrations, when people are ready to celebrate themselves and take their business to the next level, they might want to reach out to you. So where can they find you?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Claire. You can locate me over at letstalkstrategies.com. I truly enjoy working with what I consider overwhelmed female CEOs. They're in a service-based industry. So you may be a business consultant, a human resource consultant, or DEI consultant. I love to help you go from overwhelmed to simplifying, automating, systematizing, and streamlining your business. When you do this, you will find that life is going to be much more easier and you can celebrate yourself faster because you're not all over the place. So come and hang out with me over at Let's Talk Strategies. We do have free discovery sessions for you to connect with me. So click on that, get in where you can fit in that, because I don't have many open often, but we do have that so that we can communicate and I can help you deal with your business growth and take your life and your business to the next level.
Love it. Well, again, you guys got lots of strategies today. And remember, keep celebrating yourself. And talking about celebrations, come back after this last little break, and we're going to celebrate some more on Be Productive.
Take care.
These are the top 3 questions I get from people about investing in real estate. How much money do I need to get to the next level? How do I find good properties to invest in? Can I even make money in this business when interest rates are so high? I answer these questions and many more in my online course, SFR University, where I show you the strategy that I used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate business in 4 years from scratch. Whether you're just starting out or someone who's looking to scale, this course will have something for you. Join us at sfruniversity.com. See you in the course.
My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I'm your host, Clara Capano. And what a fun discussion we had today. You know, we have to learn to celebrate. We work hard. We give our all each and every day, and we need to make sure that we are celebrating. One of the key things that we can do to maintain motivation is to make sure we are paying attention to the movement that we are having. You know, so many times we get to the end of the day and we feel like we got nothing accomplished. But if you actually take pen to paper and start writing things down, you realize how accomplished you really have been. So remember, we are here not just waiting for the end result. We are here looking at all the little milestones we are making each and every day and celebrating them. At the end of the day, celebrate. What are 3 great things that happened? Maybe set up some rewards for yourself at the end of each week. And then again, those big rewards, maybe a trip, dinner, or even something